So I think that as far as like the comfort zone thing, like usually when I feel myself kind of like cracking or just like having these like a little emotional breakdowns, like everything is falling apart, it's just like, oh, and it's coming back together again.
Mm.
I feel like it's like repetitively happens, maybe because in comparison you're like really bad and then all of a sudden you're like back to normal, or like it's just like a dynamic of like, oh well, here we go, you know, it like comes back, like that feeling, it always like loops back around into something that was that is just like unpredictably beautiful. Yeah.
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 I mean, that's a really cool realization to share. So thank you for taking us on that journey. And I'd love to sort of reiterate it in my own words, because I think there's something very profound here, where, you know, when you're out of your comfort zone, and that could be your own choice in your case, or life circumstance,
Yeah.
and just everything around you is falling apart. In your experience, time and time again, without fail, it has eventually sort of come back together to where that difference allows you to, transcend that suffering
Yeah.
and that state of mind.
Hmm.
That's beautiful. And that's something, I think, what you said about it happening, time and time again, is something that I know for myself I can put a lot of faith in, even if I'm not used to, you know, um, pushing myself to be uncomfortable
Hmm.
as much. It's something that I can hold on to, and put my faith in. So thank you for that. Um, I guess, with that, um, you know, Wyoming, and you mentioned Alaska, these are these are places that are very, very well known for their natural beauty, right? And just their raw. I mean, I've never been to Alaska, but I've been to Wyoming, and just, I mean, even if you've never been to Wyoming, I'm sure like people have seen pictures. It feels like a different world in the most beautiful way, especially for me as somebody who grew up a city boy. I was quite sheltered, from nature growing up. So why don't you tell me, if you could, your love story with, the big country, and like, did you always grow up, sort of spending time in nature in Delaware, or was it something that you weren't as experienced in, that you sort of were more exposed to in Wyoming?
Um, I wasn't super experienced. I definitely had more exposure than a lot of people as far as like I didn't grow up in concrete. Like I had a yard and I would run around in my yard and like catch frogs, and it was small nature. Like it wasn't like Delaware's not a huge, there's no mountains, it's
Yeah.
small, cute and quaint.
Hmm.
But there is nature that you can explore, like you can go hiking or walking, almost hiking. Dude, funny, like really random thing. I accidentally opened my All Trails in New Orleans the other day, and it was like it had like the description for the river walk, and it was like, I mean, all like every trail that you're gonna find in New Orleans is like easy, 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 and they're all like half a mile long. And I
Mm-hmm.
opened it up, and it was just like looking at this description, and I'm like, this is a hike? Like, it's like, all right, All Trails, sure.